So I'm ready to start doing more with the gRPC server and client part of this app, and the technical issue I have to deal with currently is that I have two implementations of Google's protocol buffer format. One is the implementation from Google itself, and the other is the implementation that's used in the gRPC library I'm using, which is this proto3-suite thingamajig, and there's an underlying proto3 wire. I believe they both support version 3 protos, so that should be fine. There's a couple of things. There's at least two ways that I could try to do this kind of proto-lens to proto3-suite stuff. One is that I could just take the existing fields in the proto-lens object and copy them to the fields of the proto3-suite object. That has some merits, but my concern there is that is handwritten code that I have to do for every object. And as I change things, I don't think that's really going to hold up. The other way, or at least the other obvious way of doing it, is to just serialize the proto-lens object and deserialize it into the proto3-suite object. And while that's sort of insane from a performance point of view, why are we serializing and deserializing objects, especially if we plan to do it in the call path for each RPC? So that's not good from a performance point of view. But since this is just a demo, and since I think that my plan currently is to get rid of the proto3-suite stuff, I think I'm kind of okay with the performance hit for now, assuming it's not totally unwieldy. And by not having to do too much juggling with proto3-suite objects directly, it'll be easier to just take the either the serialized form of the the proto-lens stuff and pass it directly into the gRPC objects, or write a new implementation of gRPC for Haskell. And I think that trade-off is okay. So let's see if I can find a way to do it. Let's see if that works. I don't know if I can do it just for all objects at the same time. So why don't I first try to do it for one object, one proto object, and see if that works. I see that in proto3-suite, I have this from byte string, and I'm going to assume that that's the function that reads a byte string. I mean, what else would it do? But we don't have the implementation here, I guess. Is it somewhere else? It appears in tutorial, maybe in this class thing. Parse any message that can be decoded. So given that it's a message A, I think that message is maybe going to have a clash here because there's a message type for proto-lens. But for any message given a byte string, we're going to get either a parse error or the message. And we're going to call decode.parse, decode message. So we might get a few name collisions. I don't think the Google one is called decode message. Let's see where decode message is defined. Okay. So let's see if this works. So first I have to import proto3-suite correctly. I'm not really sure that I've ever done that in this repo yet. What's the best way to do that? I guess I could do find. What? Oh, Lord, Flutter. Come on, Flutter. It doesn't seem to be there. Let's check. I know that probably in third party. All right, so in this tutorial, which I think I did monkey around with a bit. This is just the proto file. Here's the build file. Do I not actually import it anywhere? What about the arithmetic server? So we have 1 ints, 2 ints. Where is it imported? Import arithmetic. Is that what? Yeah, so there's this arithmetic.hs, which I guess is the generated file. Generated by Haskell protocol buffer compiler. Do not edit. Okay, so from byte string is not here, right? We have JSON encoders, which is maybe the one difference from proto-lens. I think proto-lens doesn't have JSON, and that for some reason it was difficult for them to support JSON. I don't know if that's the reason there's a separate implementation or not. Okay, so I have proto3 wire at least. Do I import proto3-suite? Yeah. Here we have class. We have things like encode message field and decode message field. We don't have from byte string. Do we have just decode message somewhere? Let's see if this is called. I'm not really sure whether I should use decode message or from byte string. Let's see if there are any calls to from byte string. Well, it's in the tutorial. We can also decode messages using from byte string. So there's encoding. It says also decode. Is that also meant to contrast with encoding, or is it meant to contrast it with some other way of decoding? I'm going to guess it's the contrast with encoding. Okay, so let's just try this. So proto3-suite from byte string, some string, and then you're going to get a parse thingy. What is this actually called? No. Okay. So let's add this to a test somewhere here. I'll just pass this anywhere. I may need to have some of these switches. And I guess I have to import from byte string from class maybe. Is that what I imported? I think maybe proto-lens encodes as text though. Byte string, okay. And just for fun, I'll ask, create a Haskell method to that accepts a proto-lens protocol buffers protocol buffer as an argument and returns a proto3-suite protocol buffer. I'm not sure that Gemini is going to be able to make any sense of that. Translated data. Okay. Well, that's fine. So let's add a test. I forget what tests are. I think tests just return IO of something. Convert proto will be of type where can I find a good proto? About SQL.hs, I think, import some. I don't know if I need the fields. Oh, so I'm already importing these. And so let's just say we're going to take a job. We'll call this convert job proto. And we're going to return an error or the proto3-suite object, which is called what? I'm not sure what it's called. I think maybe I haven't compiled jobs, but I have compiled the other one. Is this proto3-suite? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to import this lector thing. I wonder if this is imported already in the server. I would think so, right? It's just called lector. Let's import qualified. And let's import it as lector proto3. So this will return a what? Lector proto3 dot let's see what is actually in the proto. Don't I just have an article? Yeah, article. Let's do an article since I already have one. Oh, I have one here. It's just called P article. Okay. All right, so it's going to take this, it's going to return this, except it's going to return a status or this thing, and convert job proto of message is going to equal I'm going to take I'm going to have to do some error handling. And I'm going to take the message, I think call encode message on it. Encode message should possibly return an error, right? But here I don't seem to. Maybe it can never return an error. Yep, you always get a byte string back. All right, so this should be a legitimate byte string, and then I'll call this function juggle errors on I guess I'll have to call it proto3-suite.class.from byte string. And then we need to implement juggle error. And what's it going to have to do? So encode message is going to possibly return a parse error. So I need to somehow take whatever their parse error type is and turn it into my error type. Either parse error. Okay, so what is a parse error? Is a parse error a string? Can I go here? Please go here. So where was it defined? Not. Text.parsec. So is this just some text.parsec thing? So we get the source position. It tells us where in the source the parse error occurs, which isn't bad. But let's see if we can look at the... Wait, hang on. Where's the source code? Didn't I just click this? Okay. We get a source position and a message. And I'm guessing the message... Okay, so a message is some enum. Unexpected, expect, or message. I guess I don't care so much about the message. Let's just anything that has anything that doesn't return that returns a write of something will return the same error message, as opposed to trying to look inside the parse error. Otherwise, I have to like import this parsec thing and reason about parsec, which I don't want to have that extra dependency. So I think I should be able to how do I want to do this? I think I thought this through before, but I don't remember what I found. I had some handle error function, right? Did I ever get rid of that? Here's handlers. Okay. So I think that basically what I want to do is fmap. If I do an fmap, actually, I think that what that's going to do is return the left of what already is there. I think I can do something like this. So if it's a right, message, we get the message. If it's a left anything, we return some error. How about invalid argument status? So something along these lines. I'm not sure that I'm getting this syntax correct, but I guess let's just try building it. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know. Something's going on with my build. my build farm. So let's just try this again. And this will take a while. And I guess while that's taking a while, let me think if about how we might do the general version. We would just take this thing, replace occurrences of job with, I guess we have like two constraints. One is that I'm not sure what the general proto-lens message type is. So if we have message, this thing, this must come from a pretty general file. Proto-lens. This syntax I don't know. Message ... Let's ask the AIs. Let's ask ChatGPT. Tell me about the syntax in Haskell. The message ... is the import list specifying which entities of the module should be imported. In this case, it's importing the message type and all of its constructors. Okay, so it's importing all the message constructors. I don't know if I need the message constructors. So let's just try importing like this. We'll import qualified as proto-lens message. Although, maybe, I don't know, do I need the constructor to do this? I guess I'll find out. So this would be, I would have like a proto-lens message thing here. And then a proto3-suite message as well. HS protobuf message. Is that from class? Let's see where it is in proto3-suite. Like here. I'm going to guess maybe it's just in proto3-suite. Is that the right syntax? Something like that. And then what? A. Something along these lines, and I'll just copy this out so that it doesn't interfere with compilation until I'm ready. So there's this parse error, probably from making a silly mistake. Is there mismatched brackets? Let's try simplifying. So this will fail. But now I'm getting an import error. Okay, so let's fix that first. What is the error? I think it's the lector module. So I have to import this. Probably also all the proto3-suite stuff, right? Yeah. I don't remember what that is. Let's look at the arithmetic build file. How about proto3-suite and proto3-wire? Although I'm guessing we might just need suite. Okay, I like that. Okay. So now let's try testing, which might pass because there are no active tests, I think. Hey, isn't this supposed to be running Buildifier? CF, okay. But I thought I had a hook. Doesn't be working. All right, so how's the compilation? Oh, I guess it's now now it's compiling gRPC as a dependency, which it really shouldn't because maybe it should because lector depends the lector proto depends on gRPC. Yeah. I guess that's expected. But why is it why is it recompiling Postgres? I don't know. All right, so while it's doing that, why don't I just ask the AI if it has any objection to this function? Is there any bug or syntax error in this function? It doesn't like that there's not a type signature. All right. It basically says it's fine, except it doesn't like some of my choices. All right. So let's see. So I guess we might as well, if we don't know if convert proto is going to work, there's no point in trying to implement the inverse function yet, because the inverse function certainly won't work if this function doesn't. Although, is that right? Maybe. I'll call this convert lens to suite. No, I won't. Do I need the other version? I do need the other version, I guess, because that's what I'm going to get from gRPC. Okay, so I have an imported status. Which I might as well import qualified as well. And I guess, I don't know, it seems like maybe it's good practice to specify what you're importing. Let's try non-imported qualified. We'll see how that makes us feel. And then lector does not export article. Are you sure? I thought that's how I did it in server. So we have an add article request. But what does it take? Or is it just because I compiled, it may be because I compiled this before I added the article. So we have this lector service. Do we have message? Where's the proto? Let's see if I can find something like author. No. So I have to regenerate this Haskell file, unfortunately. And if I remember correctly, that's a total hassle. So I have to either use Nix or Cabal, Nix Shell or Cabal, which I'm just not going to do, or Stack, which I'm also not going to do, because for one thing, when I tried them, they didn't work, and for another, I've never had a good experience with Nix, and so that leaves me with the last option of using Docker, which I'm not sure that I have set up, but maybe I do. Where is it? proto3-suite. Wait, I think I have some script, right? Util. Generate lector proto. I can try it. So it's I need to do what? Is it in the Docker build command? I need to qualify this name. File proto file. Oh, I need to build, I might have to build the container, which I think took half an hour last time I did it because the Haskell build system is insane. And I think that possibly it uses Nix under the hood, which is extra insane. Let me take a look at what the build file is. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to take forever to do. So I'm not sure that, I'm not sure I want to do that. I have to do that at some point. So maybe something else we can do is just, instead of trying to do this article, let's try to do it all at once. Because there are messages that are not article that are in lector.hs. I'd like to know why my Bazel mode hook is not running. It does not export status or. Are you sure? Isn't that the whole point of the status thing? Oh, it's capitalized. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be capitalized. Actually, I am sure it is supposed to be. Okay, so it doesn't like this proto-lens message thing. Let's see if it likes if I call that. I'm not sure if that's a constructor or what that is syntactically. proto3-suite is not around. B message. I think that's supposed to be message too, right? Okay, and then I need to qualify this thing. Except it's not proto3-suite message encode message I want. It's data.proto-lens, right? Also, what is this? This is a typo. This quotation mark. All right, so I have a typo on L here. And I need to import show message as well. And I took away def message, which I didn't think I was using, but I guess I am. All right. So I'm getting somehow I'm getting a text here. Text? No, I'm getting a string, a character list. So why am I getting, so from byte string should return a parse error Can I don't know if I can have a type here. Oh wait, hang on. I guess it's thinking I'm returning something, returning a string. So why does it think that? I think it's on the left side, right? In the equation for convert proto. So this, oh, I think I tried to fix this here, but didn't here. So this should be a status constructor that takes a string, I believe. And I need to, since I'm returning an either, this needs to be a right proto3 message, and this needs to be a left of this thing, right? And this is objecting somehow to text, which I thought that I had overloaded strings here. Oh, no, I need a pack or something, right? Do I want to keep having to do this? Maybe I should just take a string. Is it pack or unpack? All right, I need to import text. What are you talking about? Text is imported. It's imported here. Did I add it to the wrong build thing? Server test. The text, I mean. Did I misspell it? Text dot pack. Oh, you know what? I think let's try not importing qualified. So can I do as text and then just do text.pack? Yeah, apparently I can. All right, so that's the general implementation. will it work? My guess is probably not. So I can't do the article proto. What can I do? How about add article response? So I'll just make a function for this because I have to somehow throw away the error, I think. So I'll call, I also need to have an add article message, right? Although now these are going to diverge, I think, because add article is going to take the newer add article, I think, has an article subset. Oh no, it just has a URL. Okay. So let's just take this. And turn it into a request and say the same field. So I'll call it here. And then it's either a write, I guess I'll call it message. And then what do I want to do? I guess I want to print it out. Does this have show? Let's just try show. I'm going to guess that it's not going to even compile. But for the left error, we're going to say we'll just show the error. The error is itself a proto. So we can call show message error. And we have to probably unpack it, right? And then I have to look up how I'm supposed to do these tests. So there's a test group, which is here. The test group has a name, which is here. And then they are test cases. There's this test case constructor. They get a test case name. And then there is something that returns an IO, basically, right? Which is this. Let's see how close that is to compiling. I do need a let. That's a helpful error message. There's this unhappiness about text. Let's try that. So do convert add article should be of type proto-lens message. In fact, it should be of type add article request. And it should just be doing IO, right? Oh, it's because I don't have an argument here. Well, that's fine. I call it to convert. Okay. And now this is going to be a real error, I think. So ambiguous type variable arising from the use of convert proto prevents the constraint telling us that that A0 is a proto3-suite message from being solved. Use a type annotation for what A0 should be. So it could be a lecture proto3 add article request, an add article response, etc. All right. That's a little bit annoying, but I guess not that surprising. So what am I doing wrong? Is data kinds doing anything? Yeah, okay, I do need data kinds. So somehow it's, so I have this type constraint here. I think is this, or is it the return type that it's complaining about? At any rate, maybe, I'm not really sure what the syntax is to make it know that I want to type the whole side. Expected a type, but this has kind constraint. In the expression message add article request, in this thing, okay. Let's try Googling the error message. Okay, as a rule of thumb, writing something of the form foo a, it only makes sense. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So what did they do? Okay, so they did this, but the int is a type, not a class. And I think that's what I'm guilty of too. But I thought they was, hang on, I thought it was a class. I thought this is a class, right? So I think that's okay. But this is a type. Is that bad? Oh, you know what? I think it's because I have this message thing here that I didn't mean to, yeah. I think it's just a typo. Okay, that was the issue. And this is a status or. There we go. Great success. Although, is it actually printing anything out? Let's try adding a super noticeable print statement. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be printing anything out. Am I somehow not calling? Oh yeah, I'm just doing, I'm calling success and I need to be actually running the tests. So does test exist? Yeah, okay. All right, so it is printing the request, so that seems to be good. Good. I was honestly not expecting that to work the first time. Okay, so I have this convert proto thing. I don't like all this right left. I would like to have a better system. I also don't like having to text pack everything. That's super annoying. I could get around that by having my status is constructible by strings as opposed to texts. I don't think I can do I don't think I could just do this, right? And overload the name. Yeah, duplicate type signatures. I'm not sure really what I get by using text. I think in most cases I'm going to want to be passing in a string literal. But I'm not going to deal with that now. All right, and I don't know, just in general, I would like to not have to do so much case analysis. But for now, it's fine. All right, so we can convert this one thing. I assume that since the logic is correct, we can convert other things as well. So I'm not going to yet add tests for all the things. Also, partially because the what proto3-suite thinks the protocol buffer definition is different from what proto-lens thinks. Because proto-lens is updating. Proto-lens is updating the generated code every time I compile, because there's a Basel rule to do that. Whereas proto3-suite has this kind of custom compiler that I need to run in Docker, which is just a different process and not one that I can easily work into my workflow. So that the proto3-suite proto is out of date. But one thing I can do is do the conversion in the other way. And maybe the way to do that is I'll take I'll take convert proto and rename it to proto-lens to proto-suite. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be calling it proto-suite or proto3-wire. But let's call it proto3-suite now, for now. So convert proto. Let's call it what if we just call it 2 proto3-suite? And then the inverse will be 2 proto-lens, which will have the same type signature except with things reversed. Mutatis mutandis. And somehow I need to call the opposing things. Hey, what? Did I miss something? Syntactically, why is it insisting on adding a space? Oh, because it's a different function name. I haven't fixed the function name yet. Okay. And so instead of from byte string here, I'm going to call it 2 byte string. And on the outside, I'm going to call it decode message, right? And the error handling is going to be the same, except this is now going to be a proto-lens message. And I need to somehow, I guess just call show. Let's see if that compiles. Okay, I need to import decode message. And 2 byte string, which I think is a thing that exists. What do you mean? What do you mean it doesn't export it? To lazy byte string? Do I have to now import another another version of byte string? Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. How am I supposed to work with this? That's what I don't know. Too lazy. Let's take a look at how they do it. Too lazy byte string. Two chunks. Convert a lazy byte string to a strict byte string is an expensive operation. Try to avoid converting back and forth between strict and lazy byte strings. Well, what am I supposed to do to it? Is this the only way to encode a message? And what's the point? So when we're receiving a message, we're assuming that it's a byte string. But when we're encoding, we're creating lazy byte strings. I don't know. I don't know why that would be the case. So let's ask the AIs. So the Haskell library proto3-suite decode operation operates on byte strings, which I'm going to guess is the same as strict byte strings, but encodes protos as lazy byte strings. Why would there be this asymmetry in encode and decode and whether laziness is used? Lazy byte strings are more efficient for certain operations, especially when dealing with large amounts of data, or you want to avoid unnecessary computation. So you don't evaluate the entire encoded protobuf until it's necessary. Maybe if they're dealing with giant protobufs. Can facilitate streaming. Yeah, but then why wouldn't you want why wouldn't you want the other operation to also be able to do laziness? I mean, I think that those are probably the considerations that went into this decision, but I'm still not sure I really understand why. When decoding a message, the library needs to access and process the entire byte string to construct the message object. Encoding can be done in a more piecemeal fashion. The library might build the encoded message incrementally, potentially deferring the allocation of the entire lazy byte string until the very end. Okay, for large messages. Okay. Whether that's sensible may depend on, I guess, maybe like how large your protos are. It seems like that's the only operation to encode, right? Well, there's encode, which is maybe a JSON thing. So I'm just curious if there were any issues that mentioned to lazy byte string. It doesn't seem to come up except in the code. Okay, so I'll just try calling toStrict. Okay, I guess it's just data byte string, right? I think toStrict is what it was called. Look at this. Does not export toStrict. Is that because I'm using an old version, or did I misspell it? So, I guess the byte string type itself could be lazy, if I'm understanding this correctly. So from strict, so there's no asymmetry here. All we know is that the implementation chosen when encoding is lazy, but I guess the decode is may happily operate on lazy byte strings as well. However, it doesn't like when I do whatever I was doing. I guess the difference is that the function I was calling, which is what this proto-lens function, it's the type it's consuming is byte string. I guess if you want to operate on lazy byte strings, you need to consume a lazy byte string, internal byte string. Okay. Let's see just what general recommendation the AIs have. I'll say I'm calling a function in Haskell and I get the error, this thing. What's the right way to pass the output of a function that produces a lazy byte string? Oh no, I got it. I reversed it. I guess. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. So from byte string, I don't know if this is able to take a lazy byte string or if it needs to be a strict byte string. Although, where are the types of toStrict? So toStrict takes a lazy byte string. So somehow this function is able to have byte string as its input type. Right? So I guess I don't understand why, like how I would know from the type level whether a function can operate on lazy byte strings or not. It doesn't seem clear from the toStrict type annotation that you can pass in a lazy byte string. So for example, decode message also says it takes a byte string. So where, I don't know what the mismatch is. So it says I can convert it to strict. If the function you're calling can handle lazy byte strings directly, you may not need a conversion. Check the function's documentation and source code to see if it accepts this byte string lazy thing. So here, oh, is this because we're in the byte string lazy package? I thought we were in the byte string package and we had just added the support for lazy. So maybe the thing that I need to do is import a different thing. Yeah, that seems to work. Could not deduce show of PS message from use of show. Didn't I call show somewhere else in this message? Here. Show message. Add show message to the context of blah, blah, blah. So this should be, show should be a function that returns a string. I believe that's what I'm calling here. The rest of this is the same. And I should be returning a status or proto-lens message. And my input should be this proto3-suite message. Maybe maybe I can call show here because I know what the type is. Whereas here somehow I need to have a specific type as opposed to just knowing that it's a proto3-suite message. Is that right? Let's look at the type of show message in proto3, sorry, in proto-lens. So show message is a thing that takes a message, a thing constrained to be a message and returns a string. And how does it work in? Yeah, I think maybe in proto3-lens, each compiled message derives show separately, I guess. So we don't get like we don't get the kind of maybe like polymorphic or type class behavior potentially. So do we have some other method to show things? Show message, no show, deriving show. Rendering. Let's see if we have something like print related. I don't think so. Okay, so I'm going to assume that I can't actually print out this message unless I know what its type is. I don't think I have any way of knowing what its type is. So how about for now we just say we can't convert the proto-lens and we don't have a more specific error. I mean, I will get an error back. I could try to show the error. I don't know if that's something I can do with a parse message. All right, that seemed to have worked, or at least compiled. I'm not calling this function yet. And actually, the thing that we're decoding is actually it would be the proto-lens error, not the other error. But I do wonder if I can do that with this error, which I think is the parse error. Yeah, I guess I can show that error. I guess just for symmetry, let's do it that way. I don't like the name juggle errors. So let's call it handle errors, which is not much better. And then let's just repeat this test case in reverse. From proto3-suite to proto-lens. And do convert article. Do convert add article. Will be called do to proto3-suite. And this will be called do to proto-lens. And it didn't like this because so I needed to say specifically what the type was. I'm not sure why. I'm wondering if I can make a generic function that doesn't actually know the type it's converting. So if I get rid of the type annotation there and also here, is that any better? Is it the call to show that it doesn't like? No, it needs a specific, it seems to really need a specific message to convert. Well, that's fine for now. So this prints out okay. That's not what I want. Do to proto-lens. What have I done wrong here? So this should not be, oh, this should be different. Although, these are the same function, aren't they? They have different names. Okay. So these should print out the same thing, right? That's the thing I want to make sure. Oh, okay. I think I know what's happening. It seems like maybe this, they're both printing out this, but it's getting interspersed with this thing here, which seems super awkward. I think I'm not going to fix it. All right, so I don't know if I need a type annotation because the proto-lens implementation might be more easier for it to reason about. Let's see. No instance for proto3-suite message add article request arising from use of two proto-lens. Why not? Ambiguous from use of show. So if I get write message, this should be show message, and this should be show error. Right? Actually, it should be a show message error. There are instances for similar types, proto3-suite, like there are 3 proto add article request. Oh yeah, okay, so this needs to take in the other kind of request, right? That's fine, except my test article request doesn't have that type. So this will not compile, but we should at least advance. Yep, okay. So why don't we just call do to proto3-suite on the example I do have, then that will be like a round trip. Although there's this either part stuff, right? Can I just do fmap? Seems close. All right, let's just make an example. I just don't remember how to do it. I think I could just do it's basically just like a record. Okay, so even in the proto-lens version, I need to say what message I'm converting to. So this is all a little bit fussy. It'd be nicer if there were a way to do this more automatically. Oh, hey. Couldn't I have used something like map left instead of handle errors? Yes, I think I could have. Where's handle errors? I think the reason that I'm not using map left is map left just like you say what you want to happen when in the left case. The main thing is I want to be able to convert the error type. So map left takes a thing that takes an A to a C. And yeah, so yeah, basically this is what I want, I guess. But I do need some error conversion, right? I need some function that's like, yeah, let's change it to map left, but I just need some function that's like right. I just need some function that does the conversion, and this will be from. I'm not going to give it a type. Right, if I understand map left correctly. Let's keep this around just in case. Something like this. Maybe it's an extra package. Variable not in scope. Why does it think it's a variable though? Is that the right error message? All right, so let's grab this package. It's like data either extra. And then I probably need to do what extra. This might take this might take forever to compile because I don't know if I have extra compiled. Do I? No. So I have a feeling this is going to take an insane amount of time to compile. So I'm not going to do this quite yet, but I think that yeah, I think that's right. I just didn't know. What that would be called, I guess. So the reason I don't want to do it right now is the way that the Bazel integration works is it downloads stuff from Stackage, and whenever you add a Stackage dependency, it recompiles everything from scratch, and that's gonna maybe take like potentially like 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm just not ready for that right now. I'm trying to see if there's a way I can do it without the extra package. So we can definitely take. Where did Hugel go? Did I close Hugel? There's also a map left in combinators. There seem to be a bunch of them. But let's take this signature and see if we have anything that's maybe more fundamental. I don't know why I keep sending undefined. Yeah. We have this thing in stack prelude. But yeah, it's map left, I think, is where I want to be eventually. Maybe I'll do it at the end of this stream. But I'd like to get these other errors fixed first. And the other thing I don't know is that there's a little bit of asymmetry. Because this function here, no, because the error message is slightly different. So I would have maybe, I would be like map lefting a lambda that takes into, that takes in this string about which one is trying to convert. And I think that's maybe the level of complexity at which map left is not necessarily buying me more readable code. It would be certainly more satisfying. So I guess I'll have to think about what my stance there. This thing here. Oh, I made the same mistake that I made before. Okay, so it seems to think that this is okay. Is it okay? What if I comment out this one? Yep. All right. So converting works. That's good. I was a little bit nervous that this would be even more painful than it was. So far it wasn't very painful. I am going to make a... this doesn't look right. Oh, maybe it is. Okay, so this seems fine. There shouldn't be changes here, but I think what's happening is I installed into Emacs a save hook that is formatting the files with Mulu, the Haskell formatter from Twig, and it is formatting my auto-generated file, which I don't want to do. And this is probably just formatting again. So we're not going to commit that as part of the same message. And instead of test server logic, we'll call this unit tests for converting between proto3-suite and proto-lens. And then we'll make the, I think it's called Ormolu on status.hs. That'll be its own commit. Yeah, I could use first. Yeah, all of this stuff is super cool. I like this. I like this approach of thinking about, this functional approach of thinking about things. I think that first of all, since I'm just learning, and second of all, since it's a little bit annoying to add dependencies, I've been erring on the side of having like really explicit code, and I want to move away from that. But I also I don't know. I want to make sure that I would have some way to like rein in the total chaos that I see sometimes with Haskell repos where people kind of have very, very terse and in some ways like satisfying code, but it's a little bit hard to tell what's going on until you unpack all the things. So I think there's some rule of thumb. I forget who said it, but basically like it might be a Donald Knuth thing. But basically like when you're being clever, there's a sense in which you have to be, you have to be like twice as clever to debug your code as you are when you write it. And so when you do things that are like a little bit on the more fancy side, you give yourself a harder time. And I think that's just kind of where I am with respect to Haskell. So all of this stuff, if map left were in the standard library, I would use it. But if I have to import an extra thing, I'm just going to think a little bit before I use it. And I guess now that I'm satisfied with this, we can see how long it's actually going to take in practice to compile. So where was it? It was an extra data that, I guess this is the package, right? This is the thing that I need to add. And then here I would need to add it. It would be import. Is it either extra? Ether.extra. All right. So it may not take forever. We'll see how long it takes. Debugging is twice as hard as writing code in the first place. Therefore, if you write code as cleverly as possible, you are by definition not smart enough to debug it. So it's a Brian Kernighan quote, according to this tweet. It's Kernighan's law, supposedly. I'll ask Gemini to create. It's probably going to object because somebody's name is in there. An artistic rendering of the following axiom. I'll bypass the. Gemini doesn't like to create photos, images of people. Oops. What did I just do? So create an artistic rendering of the following axiom. Axiom, rule of thumb. Aphorism. I could use first. I'm familiar with first for tuples. Data.byfactor. I think I misread this message initially. Here, data by function. So it's A and B, and you have a P from A to C, and you change the left thing to a B. Yeah. Map covariantly over the first argument. This sounds like it's up my alley. So what is a bimap? A bimap has a thing as a function from A to B and a function from C to D. And it maps PAC to PBD. So A goes to B. How's that different from first? Oh, first doesn't take a C to D argument. Okay, so I see. And then is there any constraint on P? Unfortunately, if I had read your oh, you know what? Compilation's finished. That wasn't so bad. I thought it was going to maybe take like half an hour on this VM. All right, so let's try map left. So to invalid argument is going to be this. So P is just the bifunctor. That's super helpful. Thank you, WGAFA. Error is not in, so it needs to take an error. I think I want to do this so I can curry, right? Okay, so that compiles, and then now I should be able to, in theory, where this says handle errors, I can do map left. Something like that. Yeah, that seems to work. And then, is there really any difference between first? Well, can I just call first and have it work? So let's try importing data.bifunctor. See if I can type it correctly. And then maybe I did, but is that how currying works? Yeah, right? Yeah. So I think I did mean to reverse it. Okay, so this seems to work. And then if I had them reverse, I should that compiled because they're both strings, right? Or no? Oh, I'm not really sure I understand. But so what's the benefit of calling? What was it? So there's first and then map left. Is there a benefit to map left as opposed to first? Is first just more, abstract? And actually, now that I realize it, wait, hang on. No, that seems good. So I can replace this handle errors with map left to invalid argument. Cool. But I guess my question is, if first is in base and works everywhere map left works, what's the when would somebody reach for? How would somebody know to reach for map left instead of first? Is it like a virtue that it's more constrained because it will fail on things where you didn't mean to use it, or is there some other other considerations? All right, and now let's try. I don't know how to force an error, but I think that this is the right way to do things. And instead of calling this stir, let's call this. Yeah, stir is fine. I go to map left when I know it will be either, and I will likely not change it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, first is first is super unclear. I agree. Although it seems like maybe if I wanted to not have an extra dependency, and I only cared about the name, I could like type def it or whatever it's called in Haskell. But that wouldn't deal with the fact that it's sometimes useful to have the rigidity that it's only going to work on either, and that, for example, if I wrote some abstract code where I was accidentally had some other functory thing or bifunctory thing, it wouldn't tell me if I had made that sort of mistake, I guess, if I was using first. All right, so that's the so now we've essentially proved that we can convert between the two versions. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to do this as a second commit. I guess that's fine. Use from. Use map left instead of handle error. Was it handle error or handle errors? Handle errors. Yeah, that's fair. All right. Okay, so is there anything else I want to do now? Well, first of all, I think I have to go in a little bit. But I do have this delete article handler. And I do think my delete article function works now, which I think I did offline. Did I ever test this? No. So let's test it. I think I maybe added it here. I don't know how I'm going to... I don't think I have a proper... I don't think I'm correctly have a... I have to know which article to delete. I don't know how I'm knowing that. So this is the task queue. I think I want the article one. Let's just experiment with deleting article 6, which once you run it once, it's not going to work again. But we'll... And... Yeah, all right, let's try this. All right, thanks, man, or woman, whichever. I really appreciate it. That was super helpful. So there's a syntax error somewhere, query error. Here. Okay, so I deleted article 6. It should be gone now if I refresh. And if I run it again, it should fail. Shouldn't it? What if we delete a large number? Yeah, something's not right here. So I don't know if it's because I should get an error back, right? If there's a, if the database sends an error. Okay, it's just updated row 0. So there's not an error to delete something that doesn't exist. All right. Fine. Sounds good. In that case, let's go back to the server. So we have this delete article handler, and we're going to do what? Import SQL. We're going to call this delete thing, except we're going to pass in the article ID, which might be a typing error because I don't know if article ID has the right int32 type, I think is what it's supposed to be. So run with con is just going to ignore failures, right? So I can't use that. And I need to find a way to get the connection string. I guess I'll just include it here. And how do I want to handle this? I guess I can leave this alone. So what does the either function do? So either takes an A to a C and a B to a C and returns either. A, B, and an either A, B, C, right, and an either A, B, and it returns a C. So run with con is going to take a connection string. What is it called? Settings. Oh, I'm not sure how to type this. It needs to take a second argument, which is going to be a function of a connection going to be a function with this type. It's going to return IO. Okay, so it likes that just fine. And the question is, can I replace this with either? And do I want to replace it with either? I don't know if I do. So A to C, so what version of GNOME is this? That I don't know. This might be like Cinnamon. Session desktop maybe? Cinnamon. It's like, I think it's a fork of GNOME 2. Or something along those lines. All right, so if I want, the thing that's a C in this case is IO of nothing. Linux Mint is the, basically, I don't remember if Linux Mint is based on Debian or Ubuntu, but it's some derivative of Debian ultimately that has like the Ubuntu branding and stuff removed, and is generally like a little bit more up to date than stock Debian. So I could have this function printed fail. Before I chop this up, let's just have a copy of it. So print and fail is just going to do this failure stuff, and it has to take an error. And then I should be able to do something like equal either so the lambda taking con to funcon. I think that's the syntax, I'm not positive. That's the thing that's going to operate on the right. So that should be the second argument, and then the first argument should be print and fail, right? I'm not sure exactly what I've done wrong, but let's try explicitly typing this print and fail function to take this kind of error and do IO nothing. And then this is maybe my problem. So it's expecting this type, connection error or connection, and the actual type is IO of this stuff. And I basically need to un-IOify it, which I did here by using this arrow. So can I do this under do notation? I don't think I can. Or I meant to do this. No, that doesn't work. All right, then I'm not gonna I'm not gonna pursue that further. There's some way to do it. I think I just don't understand what I'm doing enough. The fact that it's in an IO is throwing me off. I would need some way to kind of map under the IO, which I'm sure I could figure out, but I'm not going to right now. So I'm going to have run with connection, the version that's going to print errors. Can I call this run with connection too? And I'm going to have the second version, which is going to return the result. And in fact, I can't even do that because I've made all these functions just ignore their results. So in this case, I am ignoring the result, but that's not the case in general. So why don't I just do things this way? So I'm going to get the result, in which case this is nothing. And I'll do a case analysis. So in the case of write, I will do return this response. Server normal response. Status unimplemented, status okay is what the status will be. I will have to do some just like I did with the protos, I'll have to do some translations between the proto3-suite status and my status. And then if there's an error, instead of calling exit failure, I'll call something. I forget now how this works. Let me see if there's any clues in the arithmetic server. Yeah, so it has me return nothing. And then the status, which is in this case status probably invalid argument, right? Because I am I'm the RPC message is asking me to delete. It's asking me to delete something And that should always succeed unless there's a database error, really. So this is probably supposed to return internal. But in the general case, I'm going to have to examine the error I get from the database and make sure that it's and kind of do an analysis of the errors to produce the user visible error. And figure out what to return. But for now, I guess I should just assume that if it fails, it's because there's a database error. And let's try compiling. And while I'm compiling, let's see if I have gRPC-Cli. Luckily, I have it in my history. And in fact, the delete article is the one that I tested. I don't remember what no remote DB does. Avoid attempting to use the reflection service. I think that maybe gRPC-Haskell doesn't support reflection. Maybe. Does it? Add response reflection. The C++, these are the C++ and Python examples. So I'm not sure if Haskell does. All right, I need to add a dependency to the SQL. I shouldn't have closed dbeaver. Let's open that back up. So this seems like it's going to take a while. It says 444 things to compile, but I know it's really in like the 2000s. Let's see. So debugging is twice as hard as writing code in the first place. Therefore, if you write the code as cleverly as possible, you're by definition not smart enough to debug it. That's the aphorism. And this is what Gemini drew. Now let's see if we can improve this. So write up a description. I'll say you are a graphic designer who specializes in representing maxims, morals, and aphorisms in graphical form. Write up a prospectus on how you'd render the following aphorism. So let's make it think a little bit before. Let's see if asking it to think is going to improve anything. This piece will capture the frustration and complexity of debugging code through visually contrasting split composition. Left side writing, a programmer sits confidently at a desk, fingers flying across the brightly lit keyboard. Right side debugging, the same programmer now hunches over their computer, face etched with frustration. Text integration, the aphorism will be split across the two sides. Color palette, a cool, calming color scheme, etc. Target audience for programmers of all levels, overall impact, etc. Let's try the same question without the context where it actually drew it. What it's describing is not at all what it drew. I'm just curious. Debugging the labyrinth. A labyrinth, it'll represent, it's not bad. But just to check out what it says here, and let's ask ChatGPT the same thing. Coding versus debugging duality. Two distinct visual motifs, one representing the act of coding and the other debugging. Can you draw images? I don't think ChatGPT 3.5 can. I don't know. I don't know if I like these ideas. I'll say, wait, what is it about Da Vinci? Simplicity? No. Posters for developer conferences, a mix of cartoon and comic book style. Bright and contrasting. I was like, no, this is all wrong. Redo the prospectus, but have it be in the style of a medieval triptych. Am I spelling this right? Triptych with a Y? Triptych. There is a Y. It's not where I put it. The scene of the Garden of Eden, lush greenery. In the center stands a figure representing the programmer, cloaked in the white robes of innocence, yet clutching their head in frustration. The serpent with the body formed from tangled code coils around the tree of knowledge. Its forked tongue whispers cleverly written code into the programmer's ear. So the left panel is a peaceful scriptorium. The right panel is a fiery depiction of hell. That's a little bit too close to the, I want there to be like computers. All right, I'll have it, I'll say generate the image. And we'll check on compilation. Okay, so this is not imported. Oh, I have to import the Haskell stuff. Okay, let's do it. Actually, let's import it from the tests. It'll probably be the minimum amount that I have to import. The connection. And really, that's it. And SQL. It won't generate it because it's got people in it. All right, I'll say instead of people, have programmers represented by 1960s style humanoid robots. Can you do that? Okay, I need to import this statement as well. And then what else did I need? How do I keep misdoing this? So delete article and Haskell session. Wait, I did import delete article. All right, imported Haskell connection twice by accident. Okay, yeah, I don't have a connection, so I need to grab a connection. Hello. Yes. Okay, so somewhere I need to grab this. I don't know if you. I don't know if you're asking about the Debian question. I answered before. I think my mic was on. It's Linux Mint. It's kind of like it's based on Debian, but it's not Debian. It might be based on Ubuntu. Oh, I need to do 2 case analyses. That's kind of a bummer. This is an area where the map left and right stuff would be useful. So if I get an error from the connection string, then that's also an internal. So maybe there's a refactoring that I can do that kind of merges these 2 error handling branches. But let's get it working at all first. So there's some maybe action. Oh, you know what? This delete nothing. I mean, sending nothing must have been from a proto that has like a one of or something that turns into a maybe. Server reader response. This is also in a stream. So if you get what I'm really supposed to do here, do I just return a delete article response? I think I have no other choice. And it doesn't like the what? Something is a word 64 that I want to be an int 32. And let's take a look at the proto again. So delete article. I told it was a uint 64. That's not unreasonable. But what is the article just says ID serial. I think that's not a uint 64. Serial is 4 bytes. So this should be, I'm not sure if this is the same as uint 64 max. So 18, whatever, many. This is half, right? Yeah. So I guess in the world of Postgres, there's no unsigned int64. Why is unsigned integer not available? Not yet, but soon. We are considering to move to Postgres. What? It's not in the SQL standard, so the general urge to implement is lower. Having too many different integer types makes it more fragile. It's a lot of work. Okay, so we don't get unsigned types. Unfortunately, that means I'm going to have to recompile this proto if I change the proto. I think big serial is probably more appropriate here. So we can at least change this. I don't know if this is going to work. It's just dropping the ID column. But we'll see. All right. Yeah, that seemed to be okay. Are these all null now? Where's my ID column? Okay. Well, that seemed to be fine. I'll change the proto, but it's not going to change this. And I'm a little bit nervous that if I just try to find and replace the generated code, I'm going to break something irreparably. In general, let's take let's take uint64s and replace them with int64s. And I guess we might as well look at the generated code. Let's see if that breaks compilation. Nope, it seems to be just fine. Except what? So it's expecting an int32 and it got a word 64. But where is it getting a word 64? That's what delete article ID is doing. And I'm not sure why that's not an int64. But I do have to go. I can hear that that things are happening upstairs, and I gotta go eat dinner. So I got a fair amount done. I'm close to testing out this server hook. I think it's gonna work once I get this. What I'm going to do is recompile the proto, which to do that I have to build this Docker image, and it's just a little bit of a slog, but totally doable. Let's take a look at this triptych. This doesn't quite. This isn't bad. I'll say it doesn't really read as a computer programmer. Can you add some computers in the appropriate places? That's better. But it's not really a triptych anymore. This just seems to be one continuous scene. All right. That's it for now.